Hey there everybody, welcome to this video for the weekly astrology for the week of February 22nd, and this week I actually even pulled some cards. I'm just trying to fix my microphone here, totally isn't working. But so this week is very interesting in astrology. Of course, we have a full moon in Virgo that's going to be happening on Monday. And this is a very interesting full moon. So, like I said, when I'm going to be doing these weekly astrology videos, they're probably going to be totally different than, other astrology videos out there. It's going to be a mixture between intuition and astrology. And, I was going on a walk today and I was thinking about next week. I was thinking about the week of the 22nd and, what I think. The week really is going to bring for us and what it's going to mean for pretty much everybody. And really, what I got is that I think a lot of you and a lot of people have probably felt like maybe you've been taking the long way to get somewhere. Maybe you've been working on a business, or maybe you have been trying to get into a relationship or trying to get your relationship to move forward, or maybe trying to get a job. And I kind of talked about this a little bit last week, but I also think it kind of makes sense for this week, especially with this full moon. But maybe it seems like you've been taking a long way. And I think even if you look at other people around you, like maybe you've been trying to start a business and you look at these other people around you, and maybe they also, maybe you have a friend that started a business and it just seemed to work out for them very quickly, but it seems like maybe it's taken you for just a lot longer period of time, and maybe you really had to go over and go over a lot of these challenges and figure a lot of things out. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more at the end, but I want to talk about this Virgo full moon because I think that this Virgo full moon ties into that kind of long way around as well. When we have a Virgo full moon, we can be looking for some, like, perfection. We can be trying to create perfection in our lives, but this Virgo full moon is well aspected, or it's really, I wouldn't say necessarily well aspected, but it's aspected by Neptune, which is in Pisces right now. It's going to be opposite Pisces, and we have a lot of other things in the chart that are going on in Pisces as well. And I think that this can lead to a lot of confusion. I also think that people maybe will be presented with some things this week that may seem like tricks or easy ways to get around this long journey that you've been on. But I think the thing you need to ask yourself this week is, like, why have I been on this long journey? Why have I been going on a long journey to try to get to where I'm going in the first place? And really, I was going to save this to the end, but I think the answer in the questions you need to be asking yourself are also, what advantages did you gain from taking this long journey? I've been talking to a lot of people this week as well, kind of about this, and just asking this very question to a lot of people to get some feedback. And it does seem like anybody that has had to take a long journey to get somewhere, longer than anybody else, they have gained some distinct advantages, and I think that a lot of you probably have as well. So with this full moon in Virgo, that's what I'd be looking for. I'd be looking to balance your intuition with your, kind of perfectionism, and trying to balance those two things. And, like I said, I pulled some cards this week. I probably won't always necessarily pull cards, but I was feeling it for this week, so I did, and we have a very interesting card that I think plays in well to the moon as well. And just one other aspect that really stuck out to me, this week was Jupiter opposite Chiron. I think that this kind of makes us feel like we want to live up to certain people's expectations, or maybe people come to us and maybe they see us working on a project or trying to work on a business or a relationship, or all these things I talked about in the beginning, and maybe they don't think that we are where we should be. But I think what you need to realize is you're exactly where you should be, and I think you've earned some, and I'm saying earned. You have earned these distinct advantages that nobody else gets on whatever long journey you have been taking up until now, probably for about 8 years. This has been like a good 8-year cycle, good 8 years of solid energy that I think many of you have been dealing with. But I think also with this Chiron aspect here, Jupiter opposite Chiron, I think you need to look at what what things you can keep from the journey and what you can cut away, what you don't need anymore. I think also with this full moon in Virgo, maybe we can kind of like examine some of the crutches we have developed. For example, maybe some of us recently have had to, over the past couple of years, maybe we've had to take a job or something just to make some money, and maybe it's not in the field that we are interested in working in. but maybe we've had to take this job just so we could have money because we couldn't get a job in the field that we've been trying to work in. But maybe now it's time to let go of that crutch. Now it's time to move forward. Maybe now it is time to get that job in your field. But I think, because of all these things, that these other aspects that have gone on in the past, I think we kind of got into this comfort zone with these crutches, and now we feel maybe a little bit scared to leave those things behind. And I think this Jupiter opposite Chiron is all about kind of healing that, fixing that in a lot of ways. And it's all about moving past some of those things. So that was that for this week. Kind of a, like I said, a short week, although, full moon's a pretty big deal. But this week, I pulled the Five of Clubs. And the Five of Clubs is exactly what I was talking about. What you learned. Five of Clubs is all about learning. It's also about looking at what's important in your life and kind of deciding what you need to cut away as well. But the Five of Clubs is a great card. It's also about being more spontaneous and adventurous and taking more risks, which I think really kind of plays well into that, getting rid of those crutches that we all have. You also have the King of Diamonds, and this one got me when it came out because, especially with this full moon in Virgo, the King of Diamonds would absolutely represent Virgo in a lot of ways. But his fault is that he doesn't allow for intuition. He doesn't allow intuition to help him out. And I frequently say that the King of Diamonds is usually called the CEO, but I think that's wrong. I think the Queen of Diamonds should be called the CEO because she does not make mistakes. The King of Diamonds makes a lot of mistakes, and it's because he doesn't allow this intuition in to help him out. And I think that's why the card's coming up, because it's asking you to create that balance between kind of perfectionism and also intuition, and finding the common ground between the two, and really trusting your gut, but also getting very specific and realistic with yourself at the same time. So it's kind of like intuition while staying grounded. And finally, you have the Seven of Spades, fears, internal fears that no longer exist. I think that, again, there's a lot of energy coming up this week. I think, it started probably last week and maybe a couple weeks before that, even, that there's a lot of forward movement energy where we can get rid of these crutches that we no longer need. So again, I would say this week, ask yourself, what advantages have you gained from that long path? Any of you that have been on a long journey, that have maybe been trying to do the same thing for many years in a row, really figure out how that's left you an advantage. I think if you can look at that this full moon, that will benefit you when you can extract those advantages and then use them to your benefit. So thank you for watching, and definitely enjoy your week.